So the best chicken, I don't know if you can tell, but maybe you can tell who's a bit bigger than everybody else. Like, how about that guy right there? That or this hen here. Right there, I think. That rooster, I mean, you can see. So right there, look, see that one? That is a standard size. Oh, I can't get him in the same shot. Anyways, that is a standard. I don't know if you can tell how much bigger. That is a standard New Hampshire. This is the New Hampshires we are talking about. And I wish I could get her closer. So this is like from a traditional, not a nursery, hatchery. And all these chickens typically come with egg laying blood. They're basically bred to lay eggs. Okay? And this guy, on the other hand, I mean, look how much bigger. I mean, obviously it's a rooster, but you know, this is what I have right here, right now, to tell you. But we did 50 of these last year, and he was the nicest, cleanest looking one. Maybe not necessarily the biggest, but good body structure, good feather structure, good feet, good attitude. But I mean, you can see how much bigger he is than the other chickens. I mean, he's borderline wild turkey size right here. And the interesting thing is, I'll try to show some of the hens in another minute here if I can see him. There's 50-60 birds in here, but he usually hangs around. But anyways, the biggest thing about him is he's so big. But if you get like traditional broilers like we've done, I mean, we've never done Cornish cross because they're mutants, and we've never really been interested in that. But we've had tons of like stuff like the Freedom Rangers, and you know, they're still broilers. They still can't reproduce. But they at least run around and they forage a decent amount. But they, you know, you let them live a while, and they still eventually end up having health issues or dying, and you know, like they get egg bound really easily, and they just get too fat. So what we did is we've tried these now for nearly a year, and this guy, being even as big as he is, so you know, those broilers, they get pretty big, and then all of a sudden they can't even, they just can't run around, they can't jump. This guy is as big as he is, but I don't know, it's hard to, like, I can't really show you, but his feet are like, you know, 3 times as thick, 3 times as big around as even this is one of the better ones. Look at the feet difference from this Buff Orpington to her. Do you see how thick the thickness in their legs? Okay, she's meant to carry this weight, and his legs are even bigger. Okay, so what ends up happening is, you know, they're a year old, and if you have a broiler live a year, you're gonna have a sad looking bird. It is, if it's even alive. Okay. But this guy can still run. He will still run full pace. You know, if he's way back out there, on the other side of those bushes, and he sees us coming out here, and you know, he thinks it's food time. He doesn't want to be on camera, apparently. He will run full pace all the way up here. Okay, which, you know, if you've had chickens for years, you can just tell that is a completely different kind of bird. I mean, he can jump from there up to here still. So that's just, you know, once we saw that, and we saw, you know, they don't grow. I couldn't even tell you how long it takes them to get full size, but you know, it might not be 10 to 12 weeks. But if you're looking, this is, like I said, I'm talking about like a homestead bird, a bird that is sustainable and stuff like that. If you're looking at birds like that, dual purpose type birds, but you want to have the meat option and not, you know, have it be almost a waste of time, those are the ones right there. Best we found, but only from Henry Knoll. Okay, and I'll link to the or I'll put the link up here, something to explain where we got them, but that's what it is. Yep, these are from Freedom Ranger Hatchery, and I have no affiliation with them, no nothing. Just pay them money, they send birds, and they seem to be very healthy every batch we get. And those are the best ones we found. These are, like I said, these are from Freedom Ranger Hatchery, and as far as I understand, Henry Knoll is the guy who kept this bloodline going, or maybe created it. But it just seems like they are a more traditional, old school chicken. This is, most of these we've got from other reputable hatcheries and stuff, but the size on these birds is tiny, and they're good at laying eggs, but they're not, they don't get that big. They might not want to forage just as much, but these New Hampshires from, that Henry Knoll has this bloodline going in, they forage like crazy. They eat tons of grass. Especially like with the broilers, all they want to do is lay at the grain. They'll just lay at the grain. I mean, Freedom Rangers kind of will get up and, they'll get up and get around, but as soon as it gets warm out, they just want to lay in the shade and eat. And then once it gets cools off at night, they might run around for a little bit. But these guys forage all day long. A massive part of their diet is grass. You can even look at their waste, their poop, and when they like after it dries, it will be filled with dried grass. So that is just a huge difference compared to the broilers. And these birds, and then another thing too is they respect fence, because while they can jump out, and they have, this is a side benefit here that we've noticed, because I have 5-foot fences here. While they can jump out, and they don't really want to. And once spring starts kicking off a bunch, see, that's a norm. I mean, I know it's a rooster, but that is a like a hatchery level New Hampshire. So you can just kind of see with that. I mean, and he's noticeably bigger than all the other roosters we have or have had. So, well, yeah. So that's another one from this bloodline, and you can see she's much closer to his size. But anyways, they have no problems. They have no problems laying. They've been laying really well. They lay just with the rest of the birds now, and that's why this is in here. This was like our small. We move them out way around back, and there's a little nest box in there, and you can just kind of slide it around. But we're gonna merge this group of New Hampshires in with the rest of our lay flock and our egger flock here, and we got another batch. I think we got just 26 this time of the, I don't even know what you call them, the Henry Knoll style New Hampshires, and we're gonna then pick another group of them to keep, and we'll pick the best from that group too. But these birds, you can just see, like, look at the difference. So that is just that's a decent sized Delaware, but look at her. So very, very good sized birds, very hardy, very good at foraging. Look at his feathering too. Very clean, nothing wrong with it. Tight pattern, but all the right feathers, big plumage and stuff. I mean, I'm no chicken expert, but we've had lots of chickens, hundreds. And and he's not the only one. The rest of the roosters look good. We wanted to keep one for that group. So, but yeah, he's a fantastic genetics in these birds for having chickens. So, and we've had some from lots of different places, and pretty much everything you can get today has been strictly bred for laying eggs a lot and fast, and not and they've bred out all of the broody genetics and all this kind of stuff. And I haven't seen that. I haven't seen one of these New Hampshires that I'm talking about go broody yet, but that hasn't been specifically bred out of them, like in many cases with the rest of these types of birds. So it's just hard to find those old rare bloodlines. And I mean, this dude's just a unit, and a lot of them, I think she's one of those too. But they're heavy, thick birds, and you can very much tell that their bodies their bone structure. I mean, you know, people say there's nothing like being big boned, but I don't believe that. You take their feet bones and their leg and carcass and stuff, and it is noticeably bigger. I mean, look how big. So that's another one of those. Look at the size difference. I mean, they're just big birds, but they're supposed to be. So that's what I got. There'll be a clip of the new chicks we got too, but you can see it again. So that's a silver laced. I mean, and they're just big birds. They're great. Here are the chicks here. I think they're about 2 days old now. Obviously it was getting a little warm out, so got the lights off. But they are all doing really well. And like I said, a couple days old here. But this is our second batch of these ones, and this is what we're sticking with, and they are all very healthy. I think out of 50 or so now, you know, out of the dozen or so breeds we've tried, out of the 50 we've got, we only lost one or maybe two. So, and, you know, once they make it past a few days, they're usually pretty good. But that's it. They don't just lay at the feed either. I mean, they'll eat a lot, but they don't just lay there, and they don't get mud butt or poopy butt or whatever, so they don't have to be cleaned as often as some of those pure broilers, which are, you know, those mutant birds. But this is just part of the old barn here and a stall, and eventually we have them set up. You know, I started them with this board here like this and open it up a little bit, and pretty soon they'll be running around here going bananas, and I'll just let them have this whole big stall here, and then in a couple weeks we'll let them get out on grass, because it's you know, into May now. Past few years we've all gotten our birds a lot quicker, and that's, I don't know if it's worth it dealing with it when it's kind of cooler out, but oh yeah, join the group. All right, but anyways, that's them as chicks. Healthy and strong, and they show up vibrant from that place too, so kind of like the whole deal.